tonight, and we'll talk about them a little later. But we showed you that the ESPN Bet Sportsbook loves the Ravens in the division. Our analytics like the Ravens. I don't know that they love them. This is sort of, I mean, I'm not sure they're ready to marry them, but they like them at least. They're willing to go out on another date with them. And as you pointed out, that is largely because people aren't buying into the Steelers. You gave me a very good phrase this morning, Bart, for what most people think of Pittsburgh.
I think they're paper champions, right? They haven't played a lot of hard opponents. And listen, the way their defense is playing, they can't beat anybody that can punch back, right? And you look at last week, giving up 360 yards to Jordan Love. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. This is supposed to be this is the most expensive defense in the NFL, and you're, 28th in the league. So I think that they still have to play the Ravens twice later in the season.
Right.
And they have a real viable opponent in front of them this week. Maybe the best slept on and the most slept on, opponent in the AFC in the Colts.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to talk about the Colts. I made this point yesterday because they haven't played, largely because I think, A, the world didn't see them coming.
Yep.
B, because of the way their schedule has shaped up. They're never in the big glamour spots, right? They're not in that 425 window. They haven't been in prime time. So I don't think the world knows them. So you might be surprised to hear this. Cindy, let's do C6. Which cover margin is 10.8 points per game. Let me make it clear. That's not what the point spread is. That's how much they are surpassing in their wins what the number was. It is the best through 8 games in the entire Super Bowl era. Look at the teams below them. The 99 Rams, the greatest show on turf, who no one saw coming.
Right.
The 2019 Ravens, when Lamar went insane, no one saw coming. Joe, this team has been this is terrible English, even more better than we thought they were going to be.
Shout out Northwestern.
Right, than they were. So what does that mean? You are the gambling expert. What does it mean?
Every team is assigned a power ranking. That's how we create spreads. If Bart's power ranking is an 80 and Harry's a 78, Bart -2 against Harry. You take in home field and all that other stuff, but essentially that's how you create a number. The power rating for the Colts coming into the season was obviously low based on what we've seen from them so far. The adjustments throughout the course of the year haven't necessarily kept up. To use a college analogy, back in 2019, something similar happened with LSU and Joe Burrow. The number just couldn't get high enough as the Tigers just kept blowing everyone out. Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, when we got to the playoffs. The thing here is, when does the market correct itself? That's what you want to be on the lookout for, and it's going to come soon, because as good as the Colts have looked, they've beaten up on who? Tennessee twice. The Denver game was a leverage penalty. They caught the Chargers when they were banged up. It's not to take anything away from the Colts, but that defense is vulnerable. They're going to get exposed at some point. The reckoning's coming. It just hasn't come yet.
I think to Joe's point, there's skepticism because they're the Scott Hansen special. What does that mean? You watch them on Red Zone.
Right.
There's 8 different games at 1 o'clock. You get a cool play. No one has watched them wire to wire. If you are watching them, I think the similarities to the 99 Rams aren't that far off. Yeah. They have all these weapons. They came from out of nowhere, and Daniel Jones has a Kurt Warner-like story where no one would have ever expected this. Now the schedule gets a little tougher. Now they're not sneaking up on anybody. We'll see if they're for real.
Here's the wins, Harry, as I give it to you. They beat the Dolphins. They won the Denver game on that leverage penalty. They beat the Titans. They lost to the Rams. They beat the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Titans again, and now they get the Steelers.
And I think they're going to be okay because they are the most balanced football team that we have in the National Football League. They can run it, they can pass it, and I think their most prized possession outside of Jonathan Taylor is their rookie tight end, Tyler Warren.
Amazing. He's so
25 of 37 catches that he has right now have been for first downs. He's their leading receiver when you talk about yardage. He's a guy that can play H-back. He can play fullback. He can, extend in the slot. He can be attached to the line of scrimmage. He can be a single receiver or single tight end on the opposite side of a 3-by-1 formation. He is the jack of all trades, and he's making his hay in this offense.
But you like the Steelers with the points in this game.
Buy low, sell high. No one wants anything to do with Pittsburgh. Everyone's in love with Indianapolis. Tough road spot here. Mike Tomlin as a dog has been successful throughout his career, although that blew up in our face last week. Looked at this. This is a smaller bet. Let's be very clear about that.
All right, I like the game. And once again, it's a 1 o'clock Scott Hansen
special.
The point that he's making. All right, let's do the Schrager 5.
Go to the
Every week,
Octobox.
Peter picks 5 people or 5 teams or 5 something or other to spotlight for us. And this week it's just 5 players that we should be paying close attention to as Week 9 continues this weekend. Take it away, Peter.
Jaden Daniels is number 5. Jaden Daniels, if they lose again, they have more losses than they had last year. Like, it is an insane thing that's happening with Washington based on expectations, yet Jaden will be back in the lineup starting in a Sunday night spot against the Seahawks. Can Jaden Daniels get this team and rise them above all of the injuries and all of the issues they have had? Number 4, I'm going with a player we were just talking about, Jonathan Taylor. We're talking MVP, first time it would happen since 2012 for a running back, but it's even more than that. How do you stop him when Daniel Jones is doing what he is? Pittsburgh's defense has been susceptible. I think Jonathan Taylor could have a huge game. Number 3, Drake May, the Patriots. 5 straight wins, Greeny. Is this for real? They play an Atlanta team. Is this a trap game? Drake May, no longer are they going to be sneaking up on anybody. Everybody's watching him, and the question has gone from Jaden or Caleb to Jaden or Drake in that draft class. Number 2, what else can we say? Josh Allen. Hey, it's the Chiefs. I know it's the regular season. You've had success there. A loss for the Bills raises a lot of questions about this team moving forward. New England, right there, if not ahead of them, on their heels. And number 1, to me, a story that probably we're not even talking enough about. What the heck are we getting from this guy? I don't know. J.J. McCarthy is going to start for the Vikings on Sunday. They play a very good Lions team, and they're doing so with injuries across the offensive line. But if you talk about all the quarterbacks that went in that draft, and you know them well, and all the quarterbacks that were in that quarterback room last year, including Darnold and Daniel Jones, they chose this guy, and they are all in on this guy. Greeny, I don't know who this guy is.
Well, that's the point. And they must think they do, right? They made huge decisions this offseason, and we have gone over it time and again here. They decided to let Sam Darnold walk. They didn't keep Daniel Jones. They didn't get interested in the Aaron Rodgers conversation, which they could have. So J.J. McCarthy. Peter has made the point multiple times here that whether it's fair or not, life is not fair. Football is certainly not fair. There's as much pressure on J.J. McCarthy right now as there is practically any player in the league. Is he ready for it, do you think, Sunday against the Lions?
He should be, but here's the thing. I'm also going to put some of this on head coach and offensive play caller Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Because you have a young quarterback that's coming off injury. You have injuries to your offensive line. You're going against a Detroit Lions front 7 that is 5th right now in the National Football League in sacking the quarterback. So the first thing you better do is make sure that your quarterback is protected. You better be able to run the football with Jordan Mason and also Aaron Jones. And thirdly, you better change the launch point for your quarterback. So if you have to do sprint outs, utilize naked bootlegs, but just don't have him sit back there in that pocket so he can be a rag doll and be a pinata, in my opinion.
What do you think, Bart?
I think they're wasting Justin Jefferson's prime. I mean, listen, they took a big gamble by going with a first-year starter with all the things that they pushed. They pushed all their chips into the middle of the table when they made all these acquisitions, improving the offensive line, going out and getting defensive line help, and then to put it all in the hands of a rookie quarterback. And nobody came into this season with more pressure than J.J. McCarthy because we know what we got from Sam Darnold.
I agree with that.
So the fact that they let Sam Darnold go, they let Danny Dimes go, who we going to go with, that is more pressure than anybody in the NFL.
Look at those numbers that Hembo's got there up on the screen. And Jones is playing unbelievably well, Darnold playing unbelievably well, the Vikings. You've made that point about pressure a million times, and it is different because Caleb Williams, we're just looking for him to get better. Jaden Daniels
been out there.
Stunned us with what he did last year. Drake May is stunning us with what he's doing.
Bo Nix.
This guy, but my point is that J.J. McCarthy is the one who we're saying, you better win. They need to win. This is a team that is built to win, not building for the future.
They traded up to get him in the draft 2 years ago. So they've been all in on this guy for 2 full years. Hasn't been healthy. The first one, obviously, a freak injury in the preseason. Then an ankle sprain where originally people thought he was going to be out a couple weeks. He missed the entire first half of the season, and now you're throwing him the ball behind a porous offensive line and saying, save us, save the season. They won 14 regular season games a year ago, and they said that wasn't good enough. We can be better with this.
Strakes, that's why I'm not letting Kevin O'Connell off the hook when it comes to this matchup. You better help your young quarterback before he gets put out of another football game, in my opinion.
They're a 9.5-point underdog in this game. I mean, that's a bit for a team that fancies itself a legitimate contender to be a 9.5-point underdog anywhere.
Goff with extra rest has been lights out. Dan Campbell in general has been lights out. The team off a bye. They've won by, I think they've scored 88 points the last 2 years coming off their regular season bye. Like, they come off it big time. I can't think of a good word. I was going to say something that it sounded like it was going to be inappropriate.
And remember, it was
most of the things you say generally are. All right, Joe's got that prediction for you, and he's got others. Let's do Joe's best